Watch this. The reason you can't handle spin isn't your technique. It's that you're trying to solve something you haven't even seen yet. Why do amateur players keep losing? Here's the real answer, and it's not what most people think. It's not about your technique or your power. The most important thing is reading the spin. Most of us walk up to the table and just play our own game. We look up, the ball comes, and we react to it, but we never actually read the spin. For example, your opponent serves a heavy backspin, but you think it's light, so you push it into the net. Or they serve a fast ball and you assume it's backspin. So you lift it and it flies off the end. This is a judgment problem. Your opponent serves short, you think it's long, you can't reach it. They serve long, you think it's short, you get jammed. This happens constantly. You haven't even gotten to the step of solving the spin yet. You have to read it first before you can deal with it. You need to see the true nature of the ball before you can find a solution. Now, in doubles, things are simpler. The serve is restricted to half the table, so the footwork and distance are more manageable. But in singles, everything is open. The challenge is much bigger. So here's the real question for amateur players. When your opponent starts their service motion, can you actually focus? Let me show you. Watch, my partner sends the ball and I have to read each one. She loads up and sends it to my forehand, then to my backhand. She adds power and switches to my forehand again. Forehand, backhand, can you keep your concentration locked in? You have to watch. Left side, right side, long, short, topspin, backspin, you must judge all of it immediately. The truth is, most players simply aren't focused enough. Their attention drifts, and that's where the problems start. The attention is turned inward, you're thinking about your own shot instead of watching the opponent. Let me give you an example. Watch, I try to loop, but I'm not even looking at what was served. If it's backspin and I just rip at it, how can that work? Then I want to push, but the ball is half long with no spin. If I push it as though it's heavy backspin, it pops up high or sails long. This is completely normal. It takes a process to adjust. But the moment your opponent initiates the serve, the very first thing in your mind must be, watch the ball. Read their intention, long or short, left or right, fast or slow, spin or no spin, side spin up or side spin down. Only after you've read it do you send the command to your body. Watch, my partner serves. See that? Read it, topspin, now backspin. Short, half long. There, that's also half long. So here's what I believe you should do. When I was young, I did this in my head, I'm just saying it out loud now so you can hear it. You need to silently call out each read. Force yourself to put your attention right there. Give yourself a mental cue. The reality is that our focus is not fully locked onto the opponent's intention, and because of that, every ball that comes over catches us late. Human reaction time is slower than the ball. That's just how it is. So you have to get ahead of it by reading early. You can call it out to yourself, topspin, backspin, forehand, short, push, loop. Give yourself a prompt. Stay with the ball. Match the rhythm of the ball. Now the serve is actually the fastest moment in a rally. Some people say no, a loop is faster. But think about it, if someone smashes a high ball, that's because you gave them the opportunity. On a normal rally ball, watch, it starts slow. The serve is where the real suddenness is. So your attention must be fully locked in right from the start. Next, let's start with the simplest situation, the push. Why is it that sometimes you can loop against a push and other times you just can't lift it? Let's find the reason together, and there are several. Watch, I'm going to push 3 different balls. My partner feeds me one and I'll show you 3 types of push. Watch carefully and see if you can tell which one has the most spin. Here's the first one. The second, the third. Which ball carries the heaviest backspin? Think about it. Now here's the first push, watch the contact. Now the second, now the third. Actually, it's the second one that has the most spin. A lot of people get this wrong, and that's exactly the judgment problem we're talking about. Look at the second push again. It doesn't look like much, you might feel it's almost no spin. But watch closely, at the moment of contact, there's a sudden acceleration. A quick snap through the ball. It's not a smooth, even stroke, there's a burst of wrist speed right at contact. That kind of push produces extremely heavy backspin. And this is exactly why you keep failing to loop it. You read it as light, but it's actually loaded with spin. The key is that the hand adds a live, active force at contact. This is what a lot of experienced players do naturally. They push with a small, compact motion, just a quick snap. The stroke looks tiny, but the spin is vicious. And here's why it's so hard to loop. The ball barely travels forward. It stays short and low. If you try to lift it with a high, arcing loop, you eat the full rotation and it drops into the net. You have to drive forward through the ball. Without that forward force, it just dies in the net. So before we even talk about solving spin, you first have to see the spin clearly. When there's that much wrist action pressing down through the ball, it simply cannot be light. But this kind of heavy push, you can push it back. A fast, rushing push is different. Watch the first type again, the speed is high. Whenever the speed is fast, the spin has to drop, that's physics. But if it's a slow, deliberate push, be very careful, that will be loaded with spin. So the first type is pure speed. The second type is pure contact, a dead ball, almost no rotation. And the third is pure spin. You need to recognize all three. These three types basically cover everything you'll see in a match. Fast, spinny, or dead, nearly every push your opponent makes falls into one of these categories. Learn to read which one is coming, and you're already ahead. Then when my partner sends a fast push, watch what happens if I try a big stroke, I get jammed. There's no time to complete the motion, and I miss. The faster the incoming ball, the smaller your stroke needs to be. Watch again, fast ball, compact action. Keep the racket close, shorten everything. You use the opponent's own speed, just redirect it, guide the ball up and over the net with a small arc. The faster the push comes at you, the smaller your motion. This is genuinely a secret weapon. Think of it this way, fast equals small. When a rushing ball arrives, you don't need a big backswing. If you try to wind up with a full stroke, you won't get jammed by the spin, you'll get jammed by the speed. You simply run out of time to finish the motion. So the answer to a fast push is a compact, controlled touch. Small stroke, borrow their pace, lift it over. Now, what about a heavy spin push? That's a different problem entirely. When the push is loaded with spin, you cannot just punch through it. You need to wait. Let the ball come to you, let it slow down and drop. A heavy backspin push is always slower, that's the trade-off. More rotation means less forward speed, so you have time. Use that time. Wait for the ball to fall, then brush up through it, more friction, less collision. If you rush in and try to attack early, you catch the spin at its strongest and dump it into the net. Watch, when I don't wait, this happens. The ball dives straight down.